So, guys, today I am not interviewing a band this time. For the first time, I'm interviewing somebody else, but still in the heavy metal industry here. I am here with my friend from Athens in Greece, who is an artist who creates, who designs many great compositions for heavy metal artworks. And the guy is Janis Nakos from Greece. Hi, Janis. How are you?
Hey, all is good. Keeping busy.
Yeah, I was saying, so Janis is a great artist, and when I try to have some information about his work, and when I saw what kind of albums he was behind, for the artwork, I said, man, I have really to contact that guy, because I don't know if you remember this specific one from last year. It was my number one album of September. And that person here, Janis, is the man behind this amazing job here. So can you imagine that I am talking to the guy who just did that one? But not only, do you know Evergrey? These two babies from Evergrey, great albums. That's from Janis as well. And that one from Pyramaze, for example. I'm just showing these four discs because these are the only ones that I own personally. But man, just knowing that the guy worked for Evergrey, can you imagine? And with Oceans of Slumber, and man, what a talent that you have! It's just amazing. And I wish I could have like a full wall, of my studio designed with this artwork, because it's basically the best artwork of last year, of 2020, and maybe one of the greatest artworks I've ever seen on any disc. So it's just crazy. So in this video, I'm very curious to learn, and I guess you are as well. It's going to be good for you to know how the process works. And Janis, he will be there basically to answer my questions on the full process, contacting the band, getting in touch with the band. How does it work, to get the inspiration for creating an artwork that correspond to the music that you will be listening to, because we all know that this is the first contact that you have with an album, is the artwork. If you don't like the artwork, you will not maybe have the envy to dig into the album because you don't like the artwork. So if you look at that directly, you say, I need to listen to what's behind this music, and it's just crazy. So Janis, thanks a lot to be here. Sorry for the long introduction.
I like introductions, trust me. Thank you for having me. It's an honor. I mean, it feels good. It feels, lately, in the most recent years, I see more and more visual artists getting some kind of recognition along with the bands they work for. And that's a good thing. I mean, take, for example, with this guy I'm going to mention is also one of my favorites, Cantor, who's also a funny guy. I've seen some of his interviews, and I like the fact that when a new album is being put out by a label, that they also put some effort into, how can I say this? They use the art itself in order to promote the album too, which means that, nowadays everybody understands that the cover is what is the very first contact of the listener or viewer with the band. So it's something important, yeah.
Exactly. It's very important. And my first question here is how do you manage, to work with the band? It's the band who contact you directly because they know your work, or it's you who just you are really personally interested in a band, and maybe you get in touch with them and see if they need help for an artwork. And especially at the beginning, when you were not that famous, before, in the early days when you were designed, how did the full process happen? How did you say, okay, I want to draw some artworks for heavy metal albums? And can you maybe tell us, as an introduction of this video,
yes,
how did you start working on that? How does it happen?
Wow. I started doing it around 2006, I think. But my first approach was very different. I mean, I was mostly doing logos for local bands for free. I wanted to build my portfolio. I wanted to be a part of the scene. I already was a part of the scene as I was playing in bands, but I I saw and realized that not too many bands have a good quality approach to their visual aspects. Everybody was paying attention to their music. So I thought, well, why not to give it a try? So I was always interested in the spooky part of art, since I was a kid, from horror movie posters to album covers. So I wanted to contribute in a way. Not many people did that in Greece back then. I think only Seth Chiruanten was doing it, on a professional scale. So I started doing it, as the years passed, I approached more bands, mostly locally, and they started approaching me because, after having done so many pieces of art here and there, a level of curiosity was turned around me. So bands started approaching me. One or two bands from abroad came in, in the MySpace era. Do you remember MySpace?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a long time ago.
So I started doing decorating their profiles. MySpace was more adjustable back then, not like Facebook. So I worked a lot on MySpace profiles, along with doing T-shirt designs and album covers. MySpace brought a lot of attention because everybody was into a big community. So as the years passed, I had more and more, progressively, I had more and more people showing interest in my work. But at one point, I started thinking, why not trying to approach bigger bands, bigger names that are housed under bigger labels. So I just, picked the best pieces from my portfolio and started sending to some bands. A couple of positive replies, gave me the thumbs up, and I started working them. And I think the one that made me appreciate my work and see it through a different perspective, a more serious one, was with Evergrey. I think 3 or 4 years ago. And it actually made me try harder and work for a better result. I approached Tom, and his reply was a positive one and a very encouraging one. And we worked on the album. The results were, I'm still very satisfied with that work. And,
sorry, that was the Atlantic album? Is
Yeah.
that one?
Yeah.
So we're basically talking about this one, which is an incredible album. For me,
This is the collector's edition, actually. This is the second edition of this album.
Yeah, because
But still very good. I like that piece very much still. I had done lots of works for other bands from all around the world before, but I think this was the turning point into the whole Remedy art design thingy, And from then on, I have been approached by many bands, many artists, and ever since, I think I've been so busy that I don't have the time anymore to be sending out stuff, approaching bands. So I think, we come to 2021 and I'm working. I think this is my main kind of income right now.
Wow, that's great.
At least I try to. Let's see how it works.
And so Evergrey was really the starting point of your fame, let's say.
The turning point, yeah, fame. I think fame is a very heavy word, but I know what you mean. It's the time that the exposure was a lot bigger on previous times.
And so it's Tom directly who contacted you himself?
No, I did it. I think I remember reading that they were about to start recording of the Atlantic album, And I was like, well, why not send him a message, with some samples. And so I did. And he replied, and here we are talking.
Wow, amazing. How did you feel when he replied and you say, "Oh, he's actually interested"? And how did you feel?
Exactly, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay, let's see where this leads. And he was a very cool guy, very down to earth, easy to communicate. We had some back and forth, regarding the rest of the art for the layouts, but everything went smoothly, and the result was very, very satisfying, I think, for both sides. As I saw that Evergrey's fans were very, very positive about it throughout, at least until the very last album.
Yeah, so that's why, because then they contacted you back for this latest album this year for 20,
Yes,
the one that released this year. So they contact you back and say, "Hey, guy, we need your help again to draw the next artwork." So
yeah,
so
and
this
I
time
think,
they come back to you.
and we will be doing the next one too.
Okay.
So be expecting more stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
Hopefully everybody will like it again.
Wow.
Let's see how it
So
works.
you will be designing the next. So they are
Yep.
keeping their artist, because they know it's working well. So we can say we know now that for the next release of Evergrey, Janice will be the one creating the artwork. Do you have already samples? I'm not gonna watch them. I'm not gonna ask you.
Oh no. We
No, it's
just
not.
started,
Nothing. It's just,
talking about it very, very briefly. There's no title, no lyrics yet, but we agreed on doing it. We have a very good, chemistry, if I may say so. I mean, our back and forth with Tom is very, it's very easy, very smooth. The whole thing, the whole process, very smooth. He gives me some hints, some lyrical aspects, perhaps some images, and he lets me do my thing. And that is very, very helpful for me.
But that was happening like from a distance, like we do now on internet, or did you meet the guy, the band?
Oh, we haven't met yet. Actually, I went to the latest show here in Athens. I think a couple of years ago. Yeah, and but he was sick that night.
Oh.
Had to go to the hotel. But I met the rest of the guys, and everybody was, super cool.
Wow. So you met the band, except for Tom, but you met
Yeah,
the
yeah.
band. So wow, that's great.
Hopefully next time.
That's great. Next time when you meet the guys, please send my regards and say they
Oh,
are
I will.
what about how many bands have you been working for until now?
Oh,
Roughly.
I think it's 250.
Wow, 250.
Logos, T-shirts, 220, 50. Not sure. I'm gonna count later.
Wow. So bands from any area of the world. So really internationally.
Oh, international, both locally and international. Yeah.
Wow.
So many bands. Oh man, too many of them.
If you can say maybe apart from the ones that I mentioned in the intro, because I know I checked personally on your website, of course, and I saw the different bands. If you can maybe give some names, which ones the bigger bands that you've been working with? If you can just give it a quick list.
I've done some work for. I think one of my all-time favorites too is from. I did a shirt design for Morbid Angel once, and oh man, that felt amazing. Yeah, that was one of those times that I approached the band. I talked to their manager, and I had made the design, sent it over with a mock-up of a T-shirt, and they were enthusiastic about it. So here we are. I also did actually have done a few works for one of my favorite bands from Sweden, The Crown. I love these guys so much. Their music describes a part of my soul. I've done work for Suffocation. Recently did some work for Amaranth. Do you know Amaranth from
Amaranth? Yeah, but did they stop working?
No.
This band? No.
No. They're fully on. They're working on their new album, actually, I think. At least I think they're going to be releasing a single soon, something
Okay.
like that. Not sure. Not sure. We've done some work with these guys too. I remember doing a T-shirt piece for Keep of Kallesing from Norway. Oh man,
Yeah,
it's
there's so
kind of
many.
blurry right now, but
Yeah, but
there's many bands, many bands.
and Oceans of Slumber,
Oceans
of
of
course.
Slumber, yeah, yeah.
And so how did you get in touch with Oceans of Slumber?
Oh man, Oceans of Slumber is a very, very special case because I was approached by their drummer and main man, Dober, before they even released anything so many years ago, like
Okay.
8 years ago, 9 years ago, I think, not sure. And I worked on their very first album. It was a self release. It was not put out through a label or something. And since then, we've been in touch and we've worked on, wow, countless t-shirt designs, obviously their previous album, hopefully their next one.
Okay.
uh, and I've kept in contact with the guys for so many years. So we have a very good communication. And even if I don't do album art for them, we will be in touch doing several other projects.
Cool.
So I think the whole thing has turned into a friendly
Okay.
relationship
Wow.
along with a professional one.
That's great. That's awesome. And yeah, I didn't show you because not only this one is beautiful, but the inside layer of this album is just madness. Let me not break the record here, but look at this piece of art. It's just it's amazing. It's amazing. If I could have my full studio here decorated like that, like a big fresque, on the walls. It's crazy. Taking this as an example, um, how does it work in the process of the creation? Does the band send you like a demo of the what will be the album? Did they send you the album when it's fully mixed and everything, and then you listen to it and you get inspired by the music that is on the record, and then it gives you the inspiration of the drawing of the art. How does it work? How did it work for that one in particular?
This one in particular, actually, a small trivia. The art you showed on the inlay of the gatefold initially was going to be the cover art.
Oh,
yeah, but after a couple of stormy nights in my head, I started doing the piece that is now covering the album, and I showed it to the guys. I was like, "Hey, I tried this one. How do you like this one?" And the response was, "Yay, works for us," And now, generally, what I do, I always ask for lyrics. If there is a general idea, perhaps, or if there is perhaps any sketches, or any pieces of art that work as a reference. Have you seen anything from my work, from any other artists' work that you want to be following? You want me to be following that or something? So there's some occasions that the band hasn't even started recording the album yet, but I'm being given the work and some hints, in order for me to start working. I can actually start working based on the title alone, I can start working just by listening to the music. So everything you mentioned can be an example. It's not something certain. What would work best for me would be to have everything, music, lyrics, in order for me to dive into the whole thing, attach to it, and then come up with something that may be suitable for the art. But that is not always the case. But it doesn't matter, you know. I still feel creative even from getting a couple of words out of the band. So yeah, start working and everything rolls by itself afterwards.
But so they send you like main directions that they say, for example, oh, we would like a big character looking like death, you know, in the back. They give you directions, or you studied it from scratch, saying that they give you like a, you know, a white card and say, okay, what do you think about the music? What does our music inspire you? And let's do something from scratch, you know, or did they say, okay, we want a big landscape with a tiny man bottom, we want these colors. In this specific case, how did it work? You choose everything from yourself, or they gave you main directions like, oh, we want that palette of colors. We want a character like that in the back looking like death, you know, or something. How did it work?
Oh, in this occasion with Oceans of Slumber, they just let me do my thing. I was being given complete artistic freedom, and trust me, that works every time for the best. I think my best works come after I'm being given artistic freedom, and this is how what happened in this occasion with this album too. So it's like, this is our music, play with it, go along. I was being given a few elements. I think on the background there's a kind of is there a small house or on the back cover or something?
On the back cover. On the back, yeah, there is a tiny house, like maybe like you can find in Norway or something, you know, like a wooden house near a fjord or something, you know. It's very tiny here. I don't know if you see on the camera. There's a little house, you know, on the top of the cliff here. Yeah.
Oh yes, I remember Doberg telling that, I want to have a small house being somewhere in there. So that was for this piece of art the only element given for me to follow.
Okay.
The rest was all mine.
Is all you. Okay. So maybe they wanted to show maybe the how can I say that what's the name in English? You know, to show the contrast, you know, of the size of a house compared to the full landscape. Maybe they wanted to show that, you know, to have a huge landscape around a tiny house. I don't know.
Yes.
But that's the only direction they gave to you. They wanted a small house, and that's it.
Yeah.
And then you came up with that. Amazing. Tell us, what gives you the inspiration to do that? What did you make decide to? Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm a little bit focusing on this album for now, because I just love this artwork. So I really want to know all I can know, you know, for the creation of that album. But how did you come up with this big character, you know, the symbol here, you know, the colors? How did you come up with that? What made you say, okay, I need to put a character like that on the artwork?
Well, my depiction, my view on this was the album by itself is massive. The music, I think, is it's a large thing, you know. The emotions, it's like a tsunami of emotions, different emotions. So what I basically wanted to depict was the listener being the tiny figure on the front, in front of the whole thing being massive, you know. It's because it's how I perceive the impact of this album on my taste, you know. I'm in front of something really big. Now about the figure, I wanted to be enigmatic, so no facial characteristics, no specific move. I wanted to have a movement, not quite like dancing, but being kind of magical, you know. After that, lots and lots of experimenting with the whole thing. You know, I tried, smaller, bigger scale, trying different colors, and the whole thing at the end worked. Each piece is a product of many hours of experimenting. At least that's how I work. I get tortured a lot by myself, you know, because I want the final result to be as good as possible. And and here we go. There it is.
But that's a good transition for my next question. Roughly, can you say how many hours you worked on this album artwork? Roughly, it's like 50, it's like 20, it's like 100, 500. I don't know.
It could be 15 to 20 hours, but mostly thinking on what I want to do with it, rather than actually designing the whole thing.
Okay. So
Hence
what takes
the
time the
torture
most
myself thinking.
Yeah. So it's the part of the biggest part of your work is really thinking and
Yes.
experimenting, trying,
Yes, trying
sketching.
different angles, perhaps. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Great. And how is the process of the creation on your on computer? Because I don't know anything about it. I don't know how you do. How does it work? How do you draw this on computer? Basically, just not really technically, because I think myself and the people who watch this video won't understand anything. But like in general, how do you draw? How is the process going?
Oh, sometimes I do sketches. Sometimes, I mean, sometimes there's if the theme of the album art is very specific, I will do sketches and I'm going to try to follow them. My technique is mostly a combination of techniques. I do digital drawing, digital painting, photo bashing, photo manipulation, and I try to, combine all these together. I don't mind saying that, oh, this was a model by a photograph I bought some stock photos that I actually drew over upon afterwards. So it's mostly different techniques combined in order for me to put out the desired result. I hope that wasn't too technical.
No, it's perfect. So it's different techniques combined together that brings.
Yes.
I mean, for the figures, for the colors, the good palette of colors to be used, for the size maybe.
And I actually like using vivid and very bright colors, in contrast with dark and heavy shadowing. I think something you can easily find in my work. One of the elements that I keep repeating, dramatic shadows and vivid bright colors, because I always think of the final product. I always think of myself holding the vinyl, in my hands. I want to be fascinated by it, so I try my best,
Oh, you must be feeling proud, when you hold the record and say, I did it,
Oh,
I'm the one who did it. That must be such a great feeling.
When the care package arrives, it's one of the most fascinating moments for sure. But to be honest, I only like my art for the first 3 or 4 days.
Really?
After that, I'm always like, oh man, I should have done that for tiny or small details, perhaps. Not anything massive, but it feels like I want to do better next time.
A perfectionist.
I don't know. Is that the definition of a perfectionist? Because I don't. Could be, yeah. But I'm still a bit confused about it,
But how can you be? How can this be more perfect? And it's true that when you said earlier that we can find common elements on your work by looking on different artworks. I just realized now that you like to draw like elements or maybe side views, on the elements, on the characters, or really on the landscapes. You like to this spiral thing. I have the impression, there's a lot of spirals in the way you go. For example, here, you see the little cloak, of the big character there. It's in spirals. If you take the Pyramaze one, you have these spirals around the face of the main character in the back. If you look at Evergrey, we can find again the spirals. There's always circle things, on your work. It's like waves, doing waves and everything. And that's how we can maybe differentiate your work and find your work, recognize your work. Oh, that's him, that's him. Because it's always the same palette of colors, more or less. It goes like, it's reddish, it's like how do you say that? Crimson. You like crimson
Oh,
colors?
yes,
Oh, it's
very, very
very.
much. Yeah.
Yeah, it's we can easily find your work, you know. And next time I will see an album with your cover, I will directly recognize you, man.
That's a good thing. I think that is called artistic identity, and I do hope I fall into that category, to be honest. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. And once the job is done, how do you complete the thing with the guys? I mean, they send you the copy of vinyl, you know, saying this is your work, man. And uh, do they? I mean, do you send, you know, sometime, you know, a progression of your work? Say, okay, I worked on that piece. Is it correct? And then they send you back, and then you go on. Or they say, oh no, we would like more like that, like that, like that. I mean, it's a go and
Yeah.
back and forth process, I guess.
Yes, there's a lot of back and forth. Sometimes there's a lot of back and forth, and there are times that the band is like, "We like it, we'll keep it as it is," you know. I actually don't feel like when I send a piece to the band, I feel that it's ready, to be honest. But there are many times that bands told me, you know, if you add this or remove that, that the result will be much better. And that is actually the case, and sometimes. Yo, can you hear me?
I
Oh, okay. Oh, the image froze for a minute there. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it froze.
Okay.
The connection froze. Yeah, could you please repeat? Because
Oh,
my
yeah.
connection maybe just lagged, you know, for a couple of seconds. Yeah.
Uh, Most of the times, or not, or a few times, there is in the back and forth process between me and the bands that the band actually suggests some very good ideas. You know, things to add, things to remove that are that actually help the final result. And that's a good thing because, you know, it makes me feel more reassured of the result.
Of course, of course. And can I ask you, if you can't answer, I fully understand, you know, but can I ask you, what are your future projects that are already planned with the next bands with whom, or the same bands, you know, that have already contacted you, or maybe new bands? And can I ask if you don't, you know, I will be totally understanding, you know.
Yeah. Uh, Actually, I already told you I'm going to be working on the next Evergrey album.
Yeah.
Uh, that's a giveaway.
When
There,
when did they plan to release the next one? I guess
oh,
it won't be 2022. I guess it will be later.
most probably, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
most probably. I have there's no, there's it's very still too early, you know, for the whole thing to be going into release dates and all. But work has been done for the new album, you know, here and there. I think the guys already made some posts about it on their social media. So Tom, I'm not giving anything away. You know. Um, there are a couple more projects I'm working on that are, uh, you know, big in a way, but I can't
You can
exactly,
disclose.
you know, say more right now because most of the times I want the band or the label to, you know, to put everything up on their social media first before I do anything. Um, but you know, there's more good stuff coming. I will generally say it. Good
Big
stuff.
names, big names already.
A couple, yeah, couple of them,
Couple.
yeah.
I'm so curious.
And there's lots more that I hope they will become bigger names because they deserve it. There's bands that, you know, have been given some pre-production files of music that are very, very good stuff.
You know,
So
my
let's see how it
you
works.
know
I hope the art is helpful, you know, too.
you know my biggest expectation for you and for me, because it's my favorite band, and if one day I learn that my favorite band is going to work with you for the next album, I'm going to be totally mad, you know. We never know, it can happen. Can you imagine Opeth contact you
Oh,
to be working with them for the new album? We never
oh.
know, that could happen, you know. So
But then
I,
again, Opeth is working with one of my favorite artists, Travis Smith, who is amazing. He's doing amazing work, and wow, who can top Travis Smith, in his field of work.
So you think they're gonna stay with the guy for like forever for
I
the next
think they've
album?
stayed for the last 4 albums already, 5, not sure. But it would be most certainly be so amazing to do work for them, for sure.
Of course.
Let's see
Of
what the future brings. Let's see.
Exactly. We never know. I wish you all the best anyway, and I wish
Oh,
that
thank you so
big
much.
names will get back to you because they obviously on the heavy metal scene, everybody knows. Well, everybody knows each other. It's a big term, But
Mhm.
people will see your work. People. I mean, if you're a band, and you want to change, a direction and go bigger, and then when then they see their work, how can they say no to that kind of thing? If I was leading a band, or if I was working for a label, I think you would be probably the first artist I will
Oh,
go to speak to because
thank you so much.
your work is just amazing. I think you're doing a great job, and you really deserve to work for the best and the bigger names. And it's already good because Evergrey, Oceans of Slumber, come on, it's not tiny bands, so yeah, it's great. It's great.
Awesome. Thank
So
you
I
so
think
much.
this is it for my series of questions, and I would just finish by you were part of bands, or are you part of a band in Greece? I think so.
Yes, yeah, yeah. I play in a death metal band called Mortal Torment.
Yeah, that's what I read. Yeah. So it's death metal. It's purely death, traditional
Oh, yeah,
death.
yeah. Leaning on the brutal side of it.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
know it's
So
for a specific audience, not overall death metal, not that perhaps the kind of type that would listen to Asphyx or Benediction. Love both bands. Mostly if you are listening to Pathology or Dying Fetus, stuff like that.
okay. So it's really
Yep, I'm
okay.
doing the disgusting sounds with my throat. So
Yeah, so you're the one who growls in your
yep.
band, and you also play the guitar.
No, just vocals, just vocals.
You don't play
Vocals
the
and
guitar.
artwork.
Okay. Wait, that's already a lot of work. And vocally, it's nothing to do with the artwork here. But how do you guys work on your growls? How can you do, especially in traditional death metal? Really, really harsh, really greasy. Really, brrr, How do you do? I mean, on a stage for more than an hour, how can you throat? Be so resistant for you to be able to growl like that for an hour or more. How do you do that? I never understood.
It's easy answer, but it actually takes a lot of practice. A lot of practice. And keep doing that again and again. We don't actually do so many gigs. So when I'm about to do a gig, I'm mostly resting a couple of days back. So how I want to put 100% of myself when on stage. But it can become very painful if you don't do it in the right way. And trust me, I only learned to do it in the right way in the last 2 years, I think. Prior to that, I was like, what am I doing to myself,
Because then for the next days, you were like having a voice you couldn't speak, I guess.
Morning. Have a great day at school,
That's
But it's interesting, you discover aspects of your neck, or
yeah,
maybe
because
yourself.
because the voice doesn't come actually from here; it comes from
From the
lower,
stomach. Yeah.
from the stomach. How can wow? I mean, can you just maybe like for 2 seconds do something?
Oh man. Oh. I am sorry to the viewers about this. It's like. Yeah,
Oh
it can
man.
become very entertaining, especially when you take your kid to school. Others like, oh, hey, Janice, can you do this?
Oh, yeah, that's great. That's great. And so you have a little daughter.
Oh yes, 6 years old now, and oh, I love her so much. Oh man.
Yeah, you have posted nice pictures on your Facebook profile. The picture you have on the beach is really a nice picture. Well, good job, good job. And is she? You think she's gonna be a heavy metal lover when growing up?
Let's see. I'm not the type of guy that is going to be I want to keep my listen to heavy metal only exclusively. I want her to be happy with whatever she chooses in her life. But already she has some she's showing some love for Fear Factory. So let's see if it rolls. Fear Factory is a good start.
But come on,
Some
to be
Iron
honest,
Maiden, of course.
to be honest, you would prefer that she listens to heavy metal than rap, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most probably, yeah. That is old, but whatever. Yeah, rap is good too. Why not?
Well, anyway, she has such a great father, and she's so lucky to have a father like you, man. Because we can feel that you're passionate about what you do.
Thank
You're a
you so
nice
much.
guy. You seem very friendly. Approachable. Just accepting, nobody like me, for running a video. Again, that was really a huge pleasure, Janice, to have you here.
Thank you so
And
much for this. Thank you.
it's me who, honestly, it's me who I'm really thanking you, because it's awesome, man. It's awesome. The minute you answered to my first message, oh Jesus, he answered me. It's crazy. I was like mad, I'm gonna talk to the guy who drew that. It's crazy. It's always a great impression. So. But
Amazing.
yeah, again, Janice, I wish you all the best in your work for the future, really, from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you so
And
much.
keep up the good work. And let's stay in touch. Maybe one day when I go back to Greece, maybe we can go, and have a couple of beers and talk really
Or
like
10.
or 10. Yeah. I come from Belgium, so beer, I know.
I'm sure about that.
Well, anytime, and that was really a huge pleasure to have you here, and wish you all the best. Keep up the good work, and I will follow. And I suggest you guys who are watching this video to really follow Janis on his work, because he does an amazing job on all these covers. And yeah, I have this in front of me. I can't stop, looking at this and saying I'm talking to the guy that does that. It's just crazy.
Oh man, thank you so much, man.
I've been really so thankful for that. It's just crazy to be able to talk to you. And again, many thanks, and I wish you all the best in your life, in your work.
Thank you. Same to
because
you, man. Same to you. Next time over beers, or let's do another one next year.
yeah, for sure. I have you on Facebook, I have you on Instagram, I have you on Skype, I have you everywhere. So we will be talking again.
We'll be in touch for sure. Yeah.
In the next future, and that will be a huge pleasure. Thanks again, and thanks Janice, and thanks Guy for having watched this video. I hope you liked it, and support Janice. Go on his website. I will put in comments on the video, the link to his website, when you can see all his work. And yeah, support the guys, and thanks all for having watched this video, and see you next time. Ciao.